right. Welcome to Making Music. Today we have San Jose Rocks. It's about time that this town got its just due. I'll tell you, the San Jose Rocks Hall of Fame is something that you're the co-founder of. Dan Orloff over here is the man who's making this all happen. I know you're in the public relations business.
Oh yeah.
So before we get started on this, let's introduce our other guests here. Okay, so first we have Dan on the far side over here of the stage, Dan Orloff. Next to you we have Judd Cost from Sun-Dazed Music.
Right, thank you, Gary.
You guys release or re-release old 60s tunes and that sort of thing?
We certainly do.
Okay, and then next to you we have Jim Gordon.
Hey, Gary.
From Daddy-O and many other, what's your current group? The Groove Kings.
The Groove Kings.
Okay, and so you're not a re-release, you just are a continual release.
I just keep going.
You just keep going, all right. And then we've got Jack Van Breen from Guitar Showcase next to me. And Jack just played that little tune from the Syndicate of Sound, Hey Little Girl. Right. And that just kind of sets the tone for the show. So tell us about San Jose Rocks Hall of Fame. We need to know, how did this start?
Well, it started perhaps with the first radio broadcast in 1909, but in all reality it started about 3 years ago when Mark Purdy with the Mercury News wrote an article on the South Bay rock scene. South Bay deserves much of the rock and roll credit. Me and a few other guys looked at that and said, you know, we could do something with this and create an event around the history of rock and roll, including the technologists, you know, from the first radio to Ray Dolby to iPod and iTunes and all these things happening. So in earnest, a year ago, we just said, let's put on an event and let's get a Hall of Fame created. We did, and we are going to launch this Friday, October 20th. 400 people are going to be treated to a show from stem to stern, great acts, from Jefferson Starship all the way down to the new arrivals. And
Syndicate of Sound, John Tristeo will be there,
Count
and
Five.
the Groove Kings will be there.
Absolutely.
Which is very cool. Okay, well, let's go back just a little bit.
Sure.
First of all, a lot of people don't know that San Jose was the first capital of the state of California.
That is correct, and when you ask people how did rock and roll get launched in 1954, the answer is AM radio. And what very few people know is the first AM radio broadcast was in April of 1909. Doc Harold was a San Jose electronics instructor. He had the first radio broadcast at a station he called San Jose Calling. They didn't have call letters. He was the first station to broadcast music, and his wife 10 years later became the world's first female disc jockey. So that's almost 100 years ago. We bring it into the 60s and 70s. One of our inductees, Doug Curtis, instrumental in the technology that made the synthesizer possible, including contributions to Robert Moog, and we know the Moog story. Take it, you know, to Ray Dolby, before that a Stanford graduate, another product of Santa Clara County, and all the way up to and including Steve Jobs and iTunes and what's happening on the technological front.
Well, that's, you know, a lot of people don't understand that when everybody refers to the West Coast rock and roll scene, somehow they all talk about San Francisco. Well, you know what? San Francisco is not where it started. In fact, they were just on our shirt tails. It all started here in Silicon Valley. Well, we were Vacuum Tube Valley back then. You know, but it started here, and with the first radio broadcast, the first lady disc jockey in the history of the world, everything started here in San Jose, California. You know, this is totally cool. Well, let's go back a lot of, now the Groove Kings. Let's go over to Jim. The Groove Kings are going to be playing at this San Jose Rocks Hall of Fame show.
Yeah, we're very pleased. My good friend Dan invited us to be on the show, and the Groove Kings won the K-Fox Last Band Standing contest last year as best cover band, and we came into your store and got our goods. As a result of that, the band's had a lot of presence in the Valley over the last couple of years, and the lineage with the Groove Kings and John Tristeo is very poignant in the fact that John and I played in a couple bands together. We played in a band called the Showbiz Kids, which was an all-original band, and then we went on to be in our version of Daddy-O.
Right.
And Gary Pomeroy is in the Groove Kings, and Sam Ramos, and we all played with John and Daddy-O. So we have the pleasure of backing him up on a couple of songs he's going to play, and also be featured on a song of our own.
That'll be cool. Well, we've got some pictures now
of
the old days with you in Daddy-O and some of the others. If we can fly to those and take a look. Now, who's this?
This is my roots with the Gary Smith Blues Band right out of college. I'm in the middle of the plaid shirt.
Okay.
That's me.
All right. That's where it all started?
Playing a lot of great Chicago blues with Gary, who's still doing it to this day. And all those guys are local guys playing. This is one of my characters from Daddy-O, Reno Patio, the LeMay King.
That's a big comb you've got.
Very big comb for a lot of hair.
For big hair.
Big hair.
Yeah.
So
this is too cool. So
yep.
that's in Daddy-O.
Yep, that's Daddy-O shot. Yeah. This is our band mascot. This is Florence, who actually made a lot of stage appearances.
She did, and
show.
We wrote a tune about Florence.
That's right.
I remember that
That's
song.
right.
Okay, that's cool.
And this is one of the characters that John did in the show, Queen of the Hop.
So
He's probably going to kill me for having the song.
So for those of you who saw our Credence show, that's John Tristeo.
Here's to you, buddy. This is one of our early shots of the band when we first started out. And we just started getting in the idea of doing some characters, and this was just one of the looks and promo shots from back then.
That's you on the lower left.
Right.
Yeah.
We patterned the band as a cast of thousands because it was like a musical Saturday Night Live, modern day vaudeville act. Everybody played 10 to 12 characters a night, and we'd rotate them every song off the stage.
Absolutely.
Another shot of some of the characters. There's John and Gary in the back there. They used to do Happy Together.
Now who's Fatima there?
That's Mike Conley doing Little Egypt.
Yeah, okay.
Vic Guitard back there on sax.
Right.
One of our early shots when the band first started out, copping the sort of the high school look.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, a lot of Utes back then.
Where are you? You're on the right with the shade.
I'm on the right with the striped shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, there you are. Okay. This is too much. I love this.
That's John on the far left. Caricature. We had a lot of fans came, and one of our fans actually did this caricature of the band with all the characters. So that's me on the far right, John in the middle, and Gary Pomeroy, and Sam Ramos, our drummer in the Groove Kings, on the upside to the right, and John Roof, Lenny Turbyfield, and Vic Guitard.
That's great.
So.
That's good looking stuff. Now, Daddy-O, we talked about it when Tristeo was on our one show when we did Credence.
Right.
And we talked about the Gong Show. Now we've got some video of that. I know I told people they could see it on YouTube, but I guess you've got a copy of that.
Yeah, I brought a copy.
Let's take a look at that real
Okay.
quick, because that I think is going to be a better quality than we could get on YouTube, I'm sure.
Yeah, we were down at the Palomino Club doing a date with Willie Nelson, and the producers from the Gong Show came in and asked us to be on the show. So we did it, and Pee Wee Herman was on before he was Pee Wee Herman.
Really?
So he also is on this clip.
Okay, let's take a look.
Called Blue Moon. It's a heart-throbbing tale about an Eskimo who decides to drop his drawers in an iceberg.
J.P. Morgan.
Daddy-O! Good stuff. Carl Valentine, what do you think of Daddy-O?
Great, energetic group. Boy, I recognize the song, too. I give him a 10.
That ain't bad. Get back on the drum. Hey, all right, Juice.
I can't wait for them to split the check.
Another 10. Waylon and Madam.
I want their hairdresser.
All right, that's 30 points. That's 30 points. Good going. Take me in a commercial, Blue Moon. Do it, Daddy-O. We'll be back with more Forgot.
That's us in our youth.
That's you.
That was John on the floor, by the way.
But you can do that still.
We can still do that.
Absolutely. Well, that was great. Well, let's go over to Judd. Judd Koss. Now, tell me about Sunday's Music and what you're doing.
I am the West Coast representative of Sundays. It's a great 60s reissue label, Gary. We've put out everything from Bob Dylan to the Byrds to Paul Revere and the Raiders to Jefferson Airplane to the Great Society, Flamin' Groovies. Plenty of 60s great stuff. And I've written over 200 liner notes, so it's been a great experience for me.
Excellent.
Getting to meet my heroes.
Now you've got some pictures you brought too.
I did.
If we can take a look at some of those. You can tell us about, these are some of the bands that you've been involved with.
That's right. I've done liner notes for all these people. So
cool. Now that's quite an art in and of itself.
It is.
If we can take a look at those real quick. There's a whole series of pictures. And I think that after that we will have to talk about San Jose Rocks a little bit, but let's go through these. Syndicate of Sound.
Syndicate of Sound. A couple of local kids from Campton High School started this band, Bob Gonzalez and Don Baskin, and they eventually cut a great tune called Little Girl, produced by Gary Thompson in Sunnyvale, and it made it to the top 10, and it's a great tune. And that's the Gollywogs, the early days of Creedence Clearwater.
Absolutely.
Up on top are Stu Cook and Doug Clifford, top right, wearing hats. They told me that those hats eventually gave them skin rot.
And of course, their connection is San Jose State University.
Right, they both went to San Jose State. Count Five is a bunch of local kids from Pioneer High School who also had a top 10 hit called Psychotic Reaction.
Absolutely, I remember.
And that's a flyer from the Continental, a great place on Martin Avenue. Chocolate Watch Band, also a great local band that played at a place called the Bold Night in Sunnyvale.
Right.
Great club. And the Watch Band is also an excellent band that everybody loved. That's the Count Five when Ken Elner told Dick Clark on American Bandstand that they were about to give up touring and going back to school and giving up $1 million worth of bookings. To which all the parents, I'm sure, were very, very happy to hear that.
They were happy.
That's the Syndicate of Sound after John Sharkey, after John Duckworth, the drummer, left and was drafted. So this is the Syndicate around 1967, I guess.
I remember.
Jefferson Airplane, and the only picture they ever took when they were smiling. That's one of our inductees is Paul Kantner, the guy in the glasses right next to Grace Slick, his girlfriend 4 years later.
All part of the San Jose Rocks.
Absolutely. Paul Kantner went to the University of Santa Clara, as did Jorma Kaukonen, the guitar player for the Airplane. And then Paul went down to San Jose State for a couple of years, and both of them opened a club called the Offstage, which is a folk club on Santa Clara Street.
Yeah, and they also used to play at the Jonah's Whale at San Jose State.
Absolutely,
a lot of great finger picking going on there.
Yeah.
Pat Simmons from the Doobies would play, Jorma Kaukonen.
David Crosby used to blow through town and play a lot.
Early days of Hot Tuna.
All in San Jose.
All in San Jose.
Absolutely.
It's right here in Vacuum Tube Valley.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's why we're here. Well, they're not going to like hearing that. Well, Dan, tell us now about San Jose Rocks. You guys have got quite a job. I mean, we're very glad that you have finally gotten San Jose to have its rightful place in the eyes of the world as the heart and soul of rock and roll. So tell me what you're going to do this next weekend here. It's Friday night.
Right, Friday night. And before we say what I'm going to do very little. I think History San Jose, who's really behind this whole effort, California's largest regional history museum, is making this possible with a generous donation of cash from Lou O'Neill and from Tom Muller, formerly with Lou's Village and the New Arrivals. So San Jose Rocks has all their support. And come Friday night at 5:30, 400 people. There are still tickets. We'll enjoy dinner, performances from 5 bands, the New Arrivals, John Tristeo backed by the Groove Kings, the Count Five, Syndicate of Sound, and then our headliners, Jefferson and Starship with Paul Kantner. There will be silent auction items, probably 50 items from golf trips all over the U.S. to a half a dozen live auction items, including some autographed guitars.
Let's take a look at those, because that's, I know we sent one to the Doobie Brothers.
Well, and we were real appreciative
They
of
were
Guitar
gracious
Showcase.
enough to sign that for your cause.
That's right. So all the money that these items generate go to...
We've set it down so we can get a good flat, yeah, like that.
Go to History San Jose. and to San Jose Rocks and allows us to continue our work.
Somebody has a real pice of history there.
With the Doobies? Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
And then this gem here is from Smash Mouth, and I got this from them directly when they performed at Music in the Park, and they put San Jose Rocks down here, and Steve Harwell and the guys in the band were just totally awesome.
Another piece of history.
Another piece of history.
For our community here in
We have a lot of great items that we're going to be auctioning off that night. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And these are just a couple. Okay, you brought some pictures. I think we've got a poster of this San Jose Rocks, which by the way is a very cool piece of art too.
Well, let me just talk real quickly on that logo. We could stay on that for a moment. The backstory on that logo is the radio waves, if you will, that sound makes, and it's a tribute to 1909 and the first radio broadcast where Doc Harold was heard saying San Jose Calling. Well, we're heard saying San Jose Rocks, and that's actually my voice print. And that of Brian Adams in my office, made to art. This is our poster, very quintessential, 40 years ago. It takes us right back to that 60s psychedelic pop look.
It looks just like it. Now who's this?
The judge could probably talk best to this great shot.
That's Count 5, and you can. They're wearing their Count Dracula capes, and they're posed in front of the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh, cool, good spot. And they'll be here Friday night.
They will.
Okay,
and they're inductees.
There we have Starship, Jefferson Starship, Paul Kantner on third from the left on the lower row there, one of our inductees.
Cool.
There's a classic shot, Judd. That's your shot, is it not?
It is. Jefferson Airplane there, shot by Herb Green. That's Grace Slick in the upper right, and that's almost the original band, but the one that cut White Rabbit in 1967, the classic airplane band. That's Count 5.
No,
I'm sorry, it's Syndicate of Sound. Looking very strange and moody.
They started to get that way. They quit smiling after a while.
It was all about the attitude.
Yeah, attitude. Yeah. See, you're guilty, Jim.
Yes, right.
That's people?
Yeah, that's people. John Tristeo, one of our inductees. He's from the left there.
Yep. Recognize John.
This was that was right after their top 10 hit, "I Love You," which was a cover of a Zombies.
The Zombies. Yep.
And there's Tristeo today, one of the hardest working guys in rock and roll.
He is a hard worker.
Clearwater Revisited, quite an experience.
Yep.
That's excellent.
It's going to be a great show.
I think it's going to be a great show. I mean, with all of you guys together. Now, how long is the concert going to be?
It's going to be about 5 hours, including the induction and all the performances. So it starts at 5:30. Well, we say 9:30, but it's more like 10:15. So it's going to be a full evening. Tickets, people can still get tickets at sanjoserocks.org.
So for $100, they get a good dinner, and they get to see some of the best acts in show business.
That's right.
And they get to be involved on the ground floor of the San Jose Rocks Hall of Fame.
Well, let's also not forget that our master of ceremonies is our sweetheart, Lori Roberts, K-Fox. I mean, on-air talent program director. This is a woman that gets rock and roll.
Absolutely.
She has been a champion for us. And our musical director is Robert Berry. From Hush and Emerson Lake, and he's got his studios, Tech Productions in Campbell.
Another San Jose icon.
There is so much talent here. Dean Markley is going to be one of the guys out in the audience. Great. Dean Markley Strings, talked with Dean yesterday. I mean, we need a lot of these, and there will be one every year.
Absolutely. Now, Greg Kinn will be there, I'm sure.
No, he's gone. He's going to be out of state.
He's out of town.
But he did a show last week on San Jose Rocks, and he's going to be there next year.
Okay, good.
Definitely.
Good. And he's talking about it on his show.
Oh, he and Chris Jackson are talking it up big time.
Absolutely.
That's the great thing about K-Fox. They really do support the local musicians so much. They give them a lot of airplay with the Last Band Standing contest, and they do community concerts out there. So the bands get a chance to get out in front of people under their moniker. And Lori and Greg and Chris Jackson, all the people at K-Fox are great, and we're really happy that Lori's going to be the master of ceremonies. Plus, we have a great auctioneer also. And,
that's right, thank you.
Ms. Georgie Huff will be doing the auction.
Cool.
So my sweetheart's doing that, so I'm happy to do that.
This will be great. I mean,
this I was going to add to that. For those watching this, this morning they should find their Mercury News, because San Jose Rocks was front of the I section. Mark Purdy wrote his second installment on rock and roll history. So if you didn't get your Mercury this morning, go out and get it, because that'll
be tomorrow.
That'll be Thursday morning.
Thursday, yeah.
Right.
So I'm sure that Brad Cava we'll cover the show.
Well, Brad's going to be there. He's going to be in the audience. Talked with him via email and this morning. So, and he blows a mean harp. He's got his own rock and roll story.
Absolutely does.
Yeah.
We did a show on Brad actually not too long ago, and it's quite a story in and of itself.
Yeah, we need to get him involved next year.
I think so.
I think so
yeah,
as well.
Absolutely. Well, what else can you tell me about what's going on the show? I mean, some of the history, some of the bands that we go back with. I mean, Judd, you're covering all of these guys. You're still, so you re-release their music.
We have. We've put out all the original albums of all the bands, just about everybody who was going to be inducted this year. Really? So I guess I was the natural guy to be tabbed to write the program note, which I did.
And you do that, you've done that for years now.
Yeah, I've been doing that for since 1991.
Okay.
I've done really, about 200 liner notes.
Great liner notes.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you're the guy who has all of that. So now I know who to go to.
Absolutely.
When we need liner notes for our shows.
I'm available.
Well, if I may, what you might want to do is people should go to SanJoseRocks.org, and when they go to About the Concert page, they'll see bios written on all of our inductees, and all of those, sans one was written by Judd.
Absolutely.
And you get just a rich sense of the context in which our inductees, as well as the Groove Kings and the new arrivals, bring to the table.
Okay, now that is SanJoseRocks.org.
Correct.
Okay, because your old site was something different. We won't talk about the old one. We don't want to get that in anybody's head. But SanJoseRocks.org. Okay, well, we've got about 5 minutes to go. So, Jack, what do you got to add? You were playing music back then, too.
I was playing music. I was stealing all those riffs, Hey Little Girl, Chocolate Watch Band, Sweet Young Thing, I Love You, all those great San Jose bands. We had amazing talent. I noticed on the poster we had Bogus Thunder, another really amazing band.
Ned Torney,
Alan, I forget Alan's last name. But I grew up in the area. I used to go to the What's It Club, see all those bands playing. One of the few youth halls we had.
Continental.
The Continental. He used to hitchhike down there and panhandle to get in and see, and you could see Chocolate Watch Band and Syndicate of Sound and Chosen Few. You'd see 4 or 5 really good bands. The Jaguars played there all the time when you were doing that thing.
Absolutely.
So, and other stuff. KLIV was a huge radio station we had here. They used to play an open format where they would play all kinds of music. You would hear not just like today you hear just the new school R&B and just the country and they'd play everything. Roy Orbison backed by James Brown, by the Beatles, and and they used to do this thing called the Surfing Safari.
Absolutely, I remember those.
4,000 cars driving to Santa Cruz, took you an hour to park, and then we saw the safaris. In fact, I remember when I was like 10 or 12, and they're going to hate me for saying this, but I saw them playing in a dirt lot on the beach, practicing. Yeah. So there's just a lot of musical history going on here.
Well, and we've all played music. I think that what they've created with San Jose Rocks is really telling the story about how fertile the music scene has been in San Jose, going right back to the beginning of certainly rock and roll, and as Dan pointed out, even with radio broadcasts and everything. And we've all enjoyed the fruits of that, of having opportunities to play in the public.
Absolutely.
Well, and let's also remember that part of this is the legacy. You guys are sharing it with me, and we're sharing it with young folks. And our legacy for San Jose Rocks is to celebrate these kids that are coming up with these high school bands. K Fox with their best last band standing under 18 winners. We want to pay tribute to those and pass it on as we move forward.
Yeah, that was one of the cool things about the Last Band Standing contest, because they had 3 categories. We won Best Cover Band, they had Best Tribute Band, and then there was Best Band for the under 18 folks. And so when they did the K Fox concert, the Can Jam thing they do every year, that we played with the under 18 band, the Strobe, and they were great. They were playing classic rock and roll. It was excellent.
It is.
I have an interesting story, Gary. Sure. My friend Ned Torney, the late Ned Torney, great keyboard player who played with the Syndicate of Sound, once told me in an interview that his band, The Other Side, was auditioning for Bill Graham up at the Fillmore Auditorium. And Bill Graham thought they sounded pretty good, and then he found out they were from San Jose, so he threw them out the door. Torney said he turned to his friends afterwards and he said that all that goes to show is never tell anybody you're from San Jose. We'd like this institution to make it possible that no kid will ever have to say that again.
That's right.
Yeah, boy, isn't that summed up nicely?
It's okay to be from San Jose.
That's right. And we know the way.
That's right. We know it. We're right here. because we've all been here all our lives.
That's
This is great. You know, I mean, San Jose rocks. It truly does.
And you know, we also want people to to go to sanjoserocks.org, and there's a button they can hit. Tell us your story. And people can email us. We collect those stories. That's how this kind of began. It began with Mark Purdy telling the story, and that led to more. Jim Gordon dumping his amazing stories, and other people, and Judd and others. And so we need your help. We need the viewers' help to collect all these stories. They'll be cataloged and they'll be chronicled on our website forever.
Yeah, it's not only about the history, but it's also about the future
right.
of music in San Jose.
That's true, and this is the starting point.
Absolutely.
We're going to go from here forward. You know, I know Guitar Showcase has been here 40 years now. Many of you guys have been playing right along with us for 40 years.
That's right.
I hate to make you feel old, but I feel that's what
I started when I was 2.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
And you know, and San Jose Rocks is going from here forward. Well, listen, I want to thank you guys for coming, Dan. It's a great thing you're doing. I know you're in the public relations business, and you're the man to put this thing forward. You know, and Judd, since you've been the man who chronicles not just the people but the songs and re-releasing, that's great. And Jim, you've been playing for as long as I can remember.
Thank you.
You know, and,
I'd like
and
to
doing
thank
a
you
great
guys
job.
for Guitar Showcase. You guys
Yeah,
really
thank
provide
you.
a foundation for us all, and we all been coming in there and buying our instruments for years, and we really want to keep San Jose rocking. That's what this is all
Okay,
about.
San Jose Rocks. Thanks for joining us. Please check out their show on Friday.